So what does that look like, really paying attention to that other side of ourselves that most of us do not want to look at or want to push away? Does that just mean being aware of your dark thoughts, or what might that look like, really coming to terms with that?
That's a great question. And it all starts with this simple three-question process that I've developed. The first question is, I have a free feelings wheel on my website, and you can download it. And it's keeping that with you. When I started this, I set an alarm on my phone, and every hour I'd look at it. Just do it as much as you can. And you pull that feelings wheel up and look at it and go, what am I feeling? Now, here's the difficulty. 70% of the population is detached from their feelings. They can't feel. So most people will start in the center of the circle, which are base feelings like happy, sad, scared. Now, as you develop emotional authenticity, you'll be able to move out on that wheel and get more what's called specificity and granularity, because you're going to learn how to reattach to yourself emotionally. Because every thought we ever have, this is another misconception in the personal development, is change your thoughts. We know neuroscientifically, every single thought you ever have starts with an emotion and a feeling. So recovery demands emotional authenticity and being gifted, well, developing the skills and tools emotionally. And so that's why the first question is, what am I feeling? Then you ask yourself, where in my body do I feel it? Because we store all emotional trauma, all pain physically in our body. The next question is, when was the first time I felt this feeling? Or you could also do, what am I thinking? And what is that thought? What feeling does it create? Where in my body? And then the third question would be, so when was the first time I had this thought slash feeling? Now, most people will remember something in the last year or two. Write that down. Then ask yourself, okay, when was the last time I felt that before that? Write that down. Just keep going back. Eventually, all of us are going to land at something between 2 and 10 years old. So right there, what you've just proven to yourself is you're stuck in the worst day cycle. You've been repeating that thought and feeling, that traumatic moment your whole life. You're stuck. That's the pain that's never been dealt with. That's the dark, that because of the shame and denial portion of the cycle, we suppressed it. We've never healed it. We've never dealt with it. So now we're into truth. Oh my God, he's right. All I've done is repeat this pain against myself. I had no idea. Now, some people, because of their detachment from, they're pursuing attachment, they detach from themselves so much that they can't remember their childhood. That's okay. Everybody remembers an age range of, well, I don't remember a specific incident of mom or dad saying or doing something, but somewhere around this age, I just have a feeling from there. And that's all you need to work through this. You don't have to remember the specific events. When you start doing this work, everybody starts remembering their childhood. It just, because your brain starts to go, oh, we're not going to deny the pain. We're going to get into truth, responsibility, and healing, and it'll start to release those things, and you'll start to put those pieces. And all of a sudden, you're going to see, oh my gosh, like for me, um, my dad rolling his eyes at me when I asked him for help with homework. My first wife did the exact same thing whenever I made a request for intimacy or connection. And so I went, oh my God, I'm just reliving my father. It's the exact same thing. And so the problem isn't her. The problem is my reaction back here. And my emotional authenticity method gives you the process to rework that emotion so that you create what's called a new definition. And when you have because my adult self can look back and go, oh, dad wasn't rejecting me. It had nothing to do with me. My dad was beat to death as a kid. My parents were 16 and 18 when they were married, 21 and 23 with 4 kids. My dad was overwhelmed with the responsibility. No one taught him he needed to pursue recovery from being beat as a kid. So my dad was filled with rage. He didn't know how to attach. He was scared to death of attachment. So in that moment, when my father rolled his eyes, he was reliving his childhood. because a request for intimacy for him meant he was going to get a belt. And my dad didn't know that. And so from now as the adult, I can rework that and create a new definition of, okay, it's not okay that the best my dad could do was roll his eyes, but I can have empathy and forgiveness for that. And I can let that go. And I can realize, because now I see my father as a hurt child, no longer is this powerful force who has control over me. We're both the same. We're two hurt children. And that lessens, and that allows us to create a new definition. There are many other aspects to it, but I'm leaving a lot of it out, just trying to get to the base point so a person listening can see, oh my God, I can see how that would totally soften the blow of the pain I went in, because now I see it's just two children that are doing that, and kids can't process emotions. And so now I can look at that moment and not shame myself and go, oh, dad was saying he didn't love me. No, dad was saying no one taught him how to love himself. Well, that's heartbreaking. And now I can move beyond that. And so now when those moments come up and I see somebody roll their eyes, I recognize, oh, that's the kid in them. It's not my partner rejecting me. They're reliving their pain. And so now I stay what's called mature and moderate. That's the recovery response. I don't take on somebody else's pain or make it about me. I now have an internal boundary around their pain. That shame doesn't come in.